What can't you believe still exists in 2024? Boring phone alarms. I'm making a better one. You set an alarm like normal, then you sleep. Zzz. Lastly, wake up to the sound of a friendly voice. Congrats. You received a nice voice message from someone somewhere else in the world. They recorded it while you slept. It could be a short story, a joke, the weather report, some words of encouragement. A happy birthday message if it's your birthday. Inappropriate messages filtered out or not. Your choice. I hope to never use my standard phone alarm again, haha. Astrology. Position of the planets affect your destiny, and that somehow, someone with the same birthday will be affected in the same way, despite the fact that the planets are now in completely different places. It's easy to disprove. It has no basis in fact. And yet educated adults still believe it. The worst part is that it actually appears in newspapers, which is ridiculous. iPhone versus Android. It's like kids bullying other kids for not having Nike or Adidas. DC they have and won or something back when I was in school. And it's not just kids doing it, it's grown adults doing it too. Everybody has a preference. Some of the Androids look really cool. Most of them have better cameras. It's just too much of a cult mindset. I have an iPhone BTW. Poverty, war, famine, homelessness. We have enough wealth in the world for everyone. We have enough food for everyone. We have enough space and housing for everyone. We have technology to colonize other planets, yet we still fight over land-based religion beliefs. Cancel culture. People have the right to believe what they want to believe, but just because it doesn't align with the current wave, they are considered not worthy. Give me a break. If you don't like someone's opinion, then don't allow them in your life or mind. We're still using the same HD broadcast tech from like 25 years ago, 720p or 1080i with tons of compression artifacts. It's really time broadcast TV takes a step forward. ATSC 3.0 is supposed to allow that to happen. I don't know why it's taking so long. Faxturate. Fax machine. Just rented a flat. In the contract was written any damage should be reported to the landlord immediately by fax. I never touched one of these my entire life, and I hope I never will. Germany is really slow with technology. Firms like Citadel controlling 80% of US capital markets transactions. They're essentially front-running the entire US economy, and we're all okay with that. Geez. Guess we didn't learn anything from the too big to fail fiasco of 2008. For-profit healthcare. Government needs healthcare for people. Government decides to insert for-profit middleman that needs to demonstrate quarterly profit growth between healthcare provision and healthcare reception. Ludicrous. The lack of reliable public transportation in most parts of the US and most social media sites. Really. Maybe even extend that to the internet itself. The past few years have rendered the internet sort of a chore to explore. Power cords. The absolute bane of my existence. Make better batteries that easily recharge. I have zero engineering skill and have no idea if this would even be an option, but I hate tripping over and tangling cords 42 times a day. My phone, computer, tablet, Roku, and watch all have weather forecast apps that I can access with a single click. Why do TV weathermen still exist? If I could be replaced with a free app, my boss would have fired me years ago. White supremacy. But it's like the sounds of an animal when it's dying at this point. These white nationalist Christians are just getting louder as the end is approaching them. The status quo is shifting, and they know it. The inability to see what you type as your password both times before you submit it. How hard is it to put the little show hide option in there every time? Does it cost money? Require a blood oath? What? And just putting this out there, hoping for no backdraft, but the fact someone that was elected to lead their country when I was a senior in high school, I'm 42, is still in power today is fucking wild. Ticketmaster, seriously, there is an easier company to disintermediate. Here's a map of some seats. Here are the prices. The date and time are set. Want to buy one of these seats? Click here. Odes to politicians. We've seen that they lie all the time. so the odes clearly don't work. Make them sign a legal contract and throw them in jail if they break that contract. AOL, you've got mail. Some places don't have high-speed internet and dial-up still exists. I use my AOL email for places I don't want them to have my regular email address. Slavery, war, hunger, homophobia, sexism, racism, poverty, homelessness, lack of access to education and healthcare. Lot of sad in a world that could be so much better. Flat earthers or conspiracy theorists. We can live stream from Earth to the moon. You can see it leave the ground in Florida, and still they believe it's done in a studio. Best Buy went into one the other day and it was full of employees. That half of the display inventory was broken, and there was so much empty space on the floor. Racism, intolerance, Nazis again, anti-vaxxers, flat earthers, climate change deniers. I'd say Trump supporters, but I believe I already covered them. Lol. Religion. In 2024, we'll have flying cars MFS when people still kill each other in a name of non-existent tale made up over 2,000 years ago. Religion. What an awful scourge on humanity, that we can continuously do awful things in the name of various gods, and the status quo never changes. You know, I honestly would have thought the Christophacist right would have given up after the early 2000s. I really did. But here we fucking are. Make up. It seems like something from the 18th century to me. It's just bizarre. And religion, that's more like something from the Middle Ages. Writing checks. Either use a debit credit card, contactless payment, or you automatically get moved to the end of whatever line you're in. MLM companies. I don't know how they still get people to join them, since a 10-second Google search will show you that they are all a scam, despite being well past 40 years old. Apparently retro computer systems like the Commodore 64 and 128 will not die for some reason. Nazis and banning books. I thought we all agreed in the 80s 90s reading Diary of Anne Frank that NZs and book bans were the AD, lack of public transportation in major areas in the US, and a healthcare system that's unable to take care of its own population. Spolem. That's like some sort of cheap-ass Polish corner store corpo. It's somehow still alive despite starting in 19th century. Fax machines. They're still in use in some companies, which I find amazing since it's so inconvenient as compared to emails. Tires. I always think about this, like, is rubber really the best and only material that can do this job? I'm no scientist. Homophobia, racism, sexism, and any other thing that people can't control. They are themselves and people hate for no reason. Religion. And I don't even mean faith. I mean the big three, where people adhere to 3,000-year-old man-made fairy tales. Maybe I'm a dreamer, but I really hope not growing up in a world where genocide is happening daily and nothing is done. Poverty and homelessness, especially when governments still send money to useless wars they aren't even involved in. MAGA. After all he's said and done, I just don't understand the mindset of people willing to support and fund Trump. Online forums that don't like apostrophes in names. As someone who has an Irish last name, it's super frustrating. Transphobia, homophobia, racism, general hate for no apparent reason. Really sucks how that still exists somehow. Fax machines. Oh wait. They don't exist. Instead, I'll say medical offices that require you to fax information. Paper notebooks. We're nearing an all-digital age. It's surprising how much we still produce paper to write on. I literally saw a racist keep the boats out share, if you agree, and wondered if I step back into the 2000s. Fax machines. We have email now. Why do I want to keep trying to send a fax through and keep having it fail? Discrimination. Still so much racism, sexism, tribalism, etc. Sometimes it feels like Hitler never really died. Religion. For the life of me, I cannot comprehend the idiocy and violence it brings. When will we grow up? Homeless elderly people. No one at all should be homeless, but it must be especially rough when you're older. Genocide. And the denial from others deny that it's happening even with today's technology and live streams. Email. It's been perfected, I guess, But it's crazy, this is a preferred way to communicate, still guilty. Hard to believe so many people still believe a literal interpretation of their respective religions. Bible, mail order brides, MySpace, USB flash drives, shark fin soup, whaling, fur farming and for clothing, or an Epson eco tank. I print 50 pages per week, and I am still on original ink after 25 years. People wasn't sure we'd survive the Cold War in the 80s, not sure how long we have left now. Creationism and people who deny evolution or believe that the Earth is only 10,000 years old. Checkbooks. And the people that write checks while paying for groceries in the supermarket. People who hoard billions and still wanting more money at the expense of everyone else. J6 prisoners when innocent Americans are murdered and framed on camera. Walk away. Handwritten love letters. Smartphone got us forgetting basic grammar and spelling. Humans. It's quite a miracle how we didn't just blow each other up a long time ago. Body shamming. Like it's 2024 and you still can't let people live in their bodies. Amway, just saw an ad on Reddit. I thought that Ponzi scheme died out in the 80s. I just bought hot dogs. Still 6 dogs to 8 bun ratio. This world will never learn. Religion. I figured humans would be smart enough to realize how backwards it is. Knocker save no phone numbers, sa contacts, continuous exchange of text messages. Homeopathy. How can people choose to be dumb? Like no way hoes. Imma be stupid. The world, sorry, but 2024 just seems too futuristic. What will be next? 2030. Blacksmithing. But there are 5 practicing blacksmiths in my neighborhood.